I welcome you all to my Super Office YouTube channel. I've been wanting to create this channel for a long time. I've been a very enthusiastic model railroader and layout builder for the past 13 years. And I have built a couple of layouts for which I've given some video references, and also in my blog site I've given some references about or descriptions about those layouts. Well, here I have collected some resources and managed to pull out some time to make one of my dream layouts, which is in Z scale, probably what's called as the Toporama layout from Marklin. So this layout is basically looks simple as though, and it is designed in 1975. Now, having considered the new evolution of technology and all, what I thought is that I could keep the spirit of the layout by keeping the structure and the presentation of the layout as the same, but still basically controlling the layout part is something that can be modernized with the new electronics. Like instead of DC layout, we are going to use a DCC layout, which means this track will be powered by digital power, digital control system, and all the locos that will be running on this will be digitized or fitted or retrofitted with the DCC decoder. This layout is going to be very interesting. We are going to control this layout digitally, so all the locos will be digitized, and also we are going to make use of 3D technology, and also we are going to make use of Arduino technology to control the layout also. And besides that, we are also going to put the moving car system called the Magnum Rail in between this layout to run. So a lot of very exciting features to be incorporated in this layout. Building a Marklin layout, or for that matter any train layout, is not an easy task in terms of as it consumes a lot of resources in terms of money, your time. Implementing this layouts in India is a huge challenge because none of the items which is required or materials that is required to build this layout is not available in India, and most of it you need to import. Optimize this layout by only importing what is necessary for it, and the rest of the aspects can be made here itself in India. Say for example, the buildings which is going to come in this layout can be printed in 3D. Now the 3D technology has come, it's very easily accessible, and also the moving car system can also be 3D printed, and that can be used. And controlling the layout, which involves some Marklin control system. Still, the modernized electronics is available in India through Arduino relays and all that, with which we will control all these tracks, turnouts, and all the aspects. So, having said that, it is going to be very exciting to start this work. Getting on to covering the main aspects of this layout. First, let's look into the track in itself, which is a primary thing that we require. The track plan for this is something that I've shared in my website, superoffice.in blogspot, and basically it requires three set of packages called SETT, which the Marklin calls at the set, which is required to prepare this Toporama layout. So this primarily consists of multiple turnouts here. Like on the left side of the layout is having some 3 turnouts. Out of these 2 are curved turnouts, and similarly the same is repeated in the right side with the two near this station junction, as well as 1 near the middle of the layout. And on the other side of the layout, you have the siding track. Here we are going to house engine loco shed, and these are siding tracks to. Also, it is having some electrically operated re-railers actually, so with which you can uncouple the coaches which is coming. So one is in the other end and the other is in this end. And primarily, so this layout can accommodate to the max of around 4 locos. So 2 can be set in the sidings, while the 2 can run with the inner line and the main line, which is in the outer line actually. So it can be controlled through a DC circuit using what is called as the Marklin controller. is a Marklin controller. So it has primarily the output for the track as well as for output for controlling the accessories like the turnouts or the re-railers over here, and this can be controlled through basically this controllers called this Marklin controllers. The model number is basically 72720. So you have to have an array of them, maybe 4 or 5 depending on the number of electrically controlled switch points you have. That many controllers you need to control. So for this this one box can control up to 4 points. So this is primarily the original design. Now we are going to tweak a little bit. There are some shortcomings in this design. Is that like when you want to control multiple trains, like the track has to be divided into what is called as a blocks, basically different outer lane and the inner lane. So the outer lane need to be controlled by a separate controller, and you need to have another controller same like this to control the inner layer. So like you literally have like to control like 2 knobs at a time to control 2 engines while running, and it has to be handled separately through control box systems. As I said, like we can make use of the latest technologies. Like for example, this system is called the NCE power cab. NCE power cab. So that's how it looks. So this is from NC, and it is made in US, and it's one of the very tried and tested DCC controller in the US and as well as in UK. So we are going to be using this basically. That means like we are going to control this entire layout not using blocks, but by digitally telling a separate command to each and every locos. For controlling the tracks, like these switch points over here, so this is going to be something new which I have tested already. We are going to use this piece of electronics which is all available in India very much. Like this is basically an Arduino board, the Arduino board, and this is a relay. If you can see, this is a relay module, and this side which is here basically is a touch sensor. So I have tested this using a program, and it appears to be working very neatly. I'll just add a small video to it on see how it functions basically. Having this, instead of having this manual controls to control the tracks, we will be using the Arduino board to control the entire layout. And I just figured out that there are some advantages over this to that. It's basically like if you arrange this in array and you want to control like one switch to another, you got to number them. You got to number them to each and every switch against it, which switch is corresponding to that which turnout, and you need to press that. And if you accidentally press another one, not knowing exactly to interpret the number, then you are likely to make a mistake while running the layout. So that can be eliminated using this system. So we are going to be making a very detailed video about how we are going to do that in future. So moving on to the locos. So these are the locos that I'll be running in this layout. First is this Marklin 8102 is the model number, Marklin 8102, and this is Marklin 8104. This also is going to be sitting on this layout, Marklin 8104. This is the model. Yeah, and also we'll be running this mesh wagon as well. So this is 88021, which is very cute, and basically this also will be put on this layout. And finally, this is the basic set which I purchased to get the power control as well as one set of track for this. So this is called the 8163S. So it's 8163S. This is the basic set which I got from Marklin, which I will be running. So there are a lot of unboxing videos related to these train sets which you can refer in YouTube. which I'm not going to do now. So this is alright. So one of the other interesting aspects of this layout is basically the buildings itself. There's going to be a GOP engine station which is going to come along with one engine shed and a couple of flats over here, a small lake, and a road which runs along the middle of the layout. When I saw the layout design, I found that there is a lot of scope for introducing the Magno-rail system into this very specific layout itself, which will be very interesting. So as I said, like this rail, the road is basically running out like this in this pattern in the middle. If you refer the actual layout design, you can see that grey colored part in the middle of the layout. So now how that can be utilized to run moving cars is basically using this system. Like what you will do is like this basically traverses through this track like this. This basically traverses like this, and then there is a small provision of 3 mm by 3 mm square gap is provisioned. This 3 mm by 3 mm square gap is used to accommodate a 3 by 3 cube magnet, or 3 by 3 round magnet also would suffice to put. And once you put that on top, you can have some vehicles moving on top of it. It is very exciting and very animatic. It will be very useful for those who are keen to build a layout, because I'm going to be sharing about the cost variations and where all you can save your cost. And I have done some tried and tested methods which can be used to optimally build your layout also, which can save a lot of cost. So for building this layout is going to be like, first we are going to build this Magno-rail system on the board. So having said that, the board that I am using on this layout is basically I hope you can see this. Yeah, so this is basically 12 mm board. I decided to use a plywood instead of MDF. The size of the layout is going to be like 4 feet by 21 inches. The original layout will be short of around 4 inches of 4 feet, but we have increased the 2 inches by 2 inches to the length here to accommodate the Magno-rail turnings. So that is the whole idea behind it. So there is going to be one turning here on this side, another turning which is going to be here on this side as well. So as the vehicle goes and then turns back and comes like this. So it will be very interesting to see how it comes out finally. So the next part of the video I will be covering how I am going to put the Magno-rail first. And then once Magno-rail starts functioning, then we are going to work on the layout to put the track bed as well as laying the track permanently with the electrical connections. And then very interesting parts are going to be there. So a lot of aspects like converting to digital is one aspect, Magno-rail is one aspect, and controlling your system through the digital Arduino board is going to be very, very interesting, which I am really excited to do also in this project. And all the buildings, including the Magno-rail part, is going to be 3D printed. So we are going to be covering some aspects of 3D printing also in this project. So very excited to do. So as I mentioned earlier, this is just a knowledge sharing and there is no commercial. Thank you all. Thanks for joining, and hope to see you catch up with my next series of videos.